This conference will now be recorded.
I call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors will take place on Tuesday, February the 4th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. here at the Community Center. Please silence or turn off your cell phones. Key upcoming events. February the 8th is the MGA Sweetheart Open. February the 12th is the LGA member. February the 19th is the WGA member guest. February the 26th to the 26th is the MGA Election Day member. Public comment in general bill will be limited to 3 minutes and may not be answered by a supervisor or staff meeting. However, all public comments will be captured for the record and the general manager will address your issues and concerns after the meeting within 72 hours. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion, any public comment?
Is there any public comment before we go there? Motion to approve the,
I make motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
call for a vote?
Supervisor Gilpin? Yes. Supervisor Herrick?
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Supervisor Norton?
Yes.
President Phillips?
Yes. Is Commissioner Cook, is he here?
The only update there is that we received the 2 parcels that were county owned in the Southern Florida. They signed those over to us and they started last meeting. So now we're waiting on the additional parcels next month. For the holidays, a lot of the other staff actually kind of work back on it.
Okay. Okay. The action agenda, the selection of the president of the board's president and vice president, and I'm going to turn this over to our legal counsel.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning. You all don't have a set way of selecting officers, so I think it would be most appropriate to have this board determine an appropriate method to do that. I believe last year you all made nominations for each officer role. If there was more than one nomination made, there would be a voice vote afterwards for each candidate. Once a candidate gets a majority vote on the board, then the vote's over and proceed. Because there's no president right now, I'll run the nomination and election of the president position. And then once there is a president, the gavel will go back to the newly elected president or the same elected president, and then we'll go down the list from there. So does that sound like a good method to you all, or would you prefer a different method?
That's fine.
Good? Okay. All right. So at this time, I'll accept any nominations for board president.
Mike Gilpin.
All right, I have a nomination for Mike Gilpin. Are there any other nominations?
Yes. Clerk Herrick.
Do I have a second for that nomination?
Yes.
Okay, second. All right. Are there any other nominations for president? All right, seeing none, I'll have our temporary clerk here call the vote for the selection of Supervisor Gilpin first, and then we'll go to Supervisor Herrick. Correct, or we could do it to where you all select one or the other. How would you prefer to do it?
You go ahead and decide. I don't think it makes any difference.
Just start one.
All right. So for approval of President Gilpin, we'll do that first. So this is to vote for the approval of Supervisor Gilpin report. So yay would be yes, nay would be
For approval of Gilpin as president, McLaughlin. Supervisor Norton.
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin.
Yes,
Supervisor Herrick.
No.
Supervisor Phillips.
No.
all right. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, you want to switch? Do we switch now?
He takes the gavel, yes, ma'am.
Just turn the gavel.
You can do it right from your seat, sir, if you want to
Yeah.
go in the center. It's up to you.
okay, then do I do the nominations for vice president? I'd like to have a nomination for vice president.
Beverly Phillips.
Mr. Who? Oh, I didn't hear your last name.
Okay, do we have roll call on the two names again? Our first one was Supervisor Phillips, I think.
Supervisor Phillips for vice president. Supervisor McLaughlin. Supervisor Norton.
No.
Supervisor Gilpin.
No,
Supervisor Herrick.
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
Thank you.
okay, is that it? Now we have, do we have Melissa next or the? board
Norton,
secretary?
got to vote in Norton,
Oh,
sir.
we got to vote, okay.
Supervisor Norton for vice president. Supervisor Phillips.
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin. Supervisor Norton.
Sure. Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin.
Yes,
Supervisor Herrick.
Yes.
okay. The next one is I think the board secretary.
What I would ask, Mr. President, if we can table that one, we're having some medical issues with Melissa.
Okay,
I just got Tamia retrained by the Florida Association of Special Districts. I'd like to bring back to you next month the board secretary position.
Okay.
And she's physically not here. She had to go to Minnesota for family problems.
okay.
Yep.
Okay. And the final one would be Coral, I
Yep.
guess. Do we need a nomination for Coral?
I'll nominate Coral.
A second.
Coral for board treasurer.
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin.
Yes,
Supervisor Herrick.
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips.
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin. Supervisor Norton.
Yes.
Thank you.
okay, the next thing on the agenda is discussion and motion to accept assessment appeal committee recommendations. Is that you, boss?
Yes, sir. So you have in your packet there the procedure that we went through last year to notice, identify the committee, attend the meetings, get the determinations. And the intent here is after today's vote by the board confirming the committee's recommendations, we'll get letters out to the 5 individuals. You also have the minutes from that meeting with a little bit more detail in the 5 cases that were presented for your reading. And then as per the recommendations by the board, we had 4 of the 5 cases where the board's recommending denial based on the merit of the case. The one for Unit 12 parcels, the board is recommending, the committee is recommending adjustment to the 5% increase. And this was only more so the contract that was written specifically stated that their parcels need to be the lowest acreage rate that the district offers. The system automatically charged them residential acreage rate. So now the committee was presented that fact. We're wanting to adjust that. It's clerical in nature. We want to adjust that to the lowest acreage rate, which is basically only a 5% increase from previous years, and that's the recommendation of the committee. So what we would ask is a motion to approve each of these individually. We need to have a motion for each case, and we'll leave it up to you guys to read the motions out with the case number and then a vote for each one.
Okay, we gotta have a motion for the first one, I guess. You can do every
You
one.
want to do after each one? If we can have public, if there's any public comment
Well,
after each one, in case they want to
Okay,
last minute chime in.
we need a motion on case 1, 7723,
I make a motion to approve the assessment appeal committee recommendation.
and that's case 1.
Case one.
Okay.
Second.
In a sec, is there any public comment? Hearing none?
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
President Gilpin.
Yes. Need a motion on case 2, 6420 Matanzas Drive.
I make a motion for case 2 to approve the assessment appeal committee recommendation. 6420 Matanza Drive.
Second.
Is there any public comment on case 2, 6420 Matanzas Drive? Okay, vote please.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
President Gilpin.
Yes. Need a motion on case 3, unit 12.
I make a motion for case 3 to approve the assessment appeal committee recommendations for case presented, unit 12 Ram Store.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Hearing none? Okay.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
President Gilpin.
Yes. I need a motion on case 4, 5897 Matanzas.
Make the motion to approve the assessment appeal committee recommendation, case 4, 5897 Matanza Drive.
Wait a minute. Clarification.
Okay.
On the action agenda item D says case 4 is 5807. Is it 5807 or 5897?
Yeah, a typo. 5807 Matanzas is in the minutes, sir. Let's go with that.
5807?
5807 Matanzas. Yep, that's the correction.
We need John to make another motion on that with the date, address change.
Just amend the motion to the correct
Right.
address.
I amend the motion to 5807.
Second.
Any public comment? Okay, Carl?
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
President Gilpin.
Yes. Case 5. Karen
Case-
will,
Case 5, I'd like to approve the assessment appeal committee recommendations for case 5, Wilson, 28 parcels.
Second.
is any public comment on case 5? Okay, Carl?
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
President Gilpin.
Yes. I think that
We're good.
takes care of it.
Thank you
Okay.
much. Letters will go out this week by finance and we'll get this squared away for this year.
Okay, we have Item number C, discussion and motion to approve the amendment number 3 on the Troon contract addressing employee hiring, information technology, and marketing areas.
So this was tabled last month because of the contract adjustments. You have in your packet the signed agreements, the most current Troon amendment, and we're not changing the entirety of the contract, just amending the base contract. It specifically language clearly identifies how we deal with Troon HR, Troon IT, Troon Finance, and then a clarification which was already established, but we wanted to reemphasize it, that if there was ever a separation of parties, we would, as the district, we would have full leeway to rehire and approach those staff employees. The language in the contract was at corporate level and above, obviously. So staff's recommending an approval of this amendment so we can get that clarified for our records and take it from there.
Is there any board comment?
I find it very discerning that we, after 5 months, that the only thing that we had is a clarification of the language of the current contract. While I'm going to approve this motion, because it just clarifies what the contract said before, I find it still, and I'm going to ask the board to seriously consider so that next time we meet, next month, that I want to have a full discussion on removing Troon. We spend $120,000 and get nothing, in my opinion, from it. The improvement that we've seen in the restaurant area is a direct reflection of a general manager's involvement in the program over there. His assessment shows that he's not approving of what Troon has been offering. It's obvious with his wanting to add a restaurant manager and a banquet manager that we do not have the proper people in place in order to make that a successful venture. So I am going to go ahead and approve this motion when it's my turn to vote. But I want this board to seriously think about it over the next month. Talk to our general manager, but I'd like to discuss in detail, giving them notice that in 6 months we will take over. We can use the $120,000 in a different manner, in a more effective manner, and have control. So that's what I have to say on the matter.
Supervisor Herrick, do you want to, I don't mind a discussion, but do you want to, is there a way we just set that up to have a discussion, or?
We'll put it on the agenda as
Put it
a
on the
topic, yes,
agenda?
sir.
Is
We'll
that
give you
okay?
some documents. Yep.
Okay. So,
I think you guys need time to think about.
yeah, well, I don't even, I need to do a lot of research myself and asking questions, but I don't mind discussions at all, so I think it's important. So put that on there, please, boss.
Yes,
And
sir.
now I need public comment, if there is any on this. Okay. We need a call for a vote.
I make the
Motion is
motion to Troon third amendment to the base contract addressing employees, IT, and marketing clarifications.
Second.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
President Gilpin.
Yes. Add-on items,
We have nothing.
petitions and communication.
We received a notification from the county tax collector that he acknowledged our request that you all approved last month, the resolution, that we've met the administrative checklist to move forward with the potential of putting our assessments, our annual assessments on the tax bills. So he's acknowledged that. So now the ball's back in our court. Next month, we'll be bringing to you the financial data that you all requested. And then the only thing due out there is once you're satisfied or not with the financial presentation, then we have to sign a contract with the tax collector, and then it moves forward to the next step. So that's the only notification. The second was those evaluations that I mentioned to you. I'm still missing 3 of our public works vendors. I'll be sending those out this week. Again, for the public information, we're a process that the staff is doing is that for our major end vendors, I'm providing them a summary of their performance for the year, holding them accountable to whatever the contract says, and either my satisfaction or dissatisfaction, but it also includes what the staff that deals with them on a daily basis either thinks about them or has issues with them. So we codify it, it's documented, we sent to them, to the interested parties, and it also captures the amount of money we paid them in the year. It's really just a foot stomp at the end of the year. We're either very happy, we're kind of mediocre, or we're not happy, and it gives them notice to either get better or we may be seeing you later. So that's what that reference to. It's in the board packet, and the supervisors have a copy of that. That's all the correspondence we have, sir.
Staff reports. Start with you, Gary.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only true substantive update I have for the board since the board's last meeting in December is our office made significant progress on filing the foreclosure lawsuits related to the Phase 5 assessments. You might recall that's the agreement the district entered into several years ago with Auckland Pastures to recover the delinquent assessments for the Phase 5 bond work. To date, we've filed 15 lawsuits. We have another 10 that will be filed by the end of this week. And by the end of this month, we expect another 9 lawsuits to be filed. That'll encumber approximately 110 lots. That's about a fourth of the lots total that Auckland requested the district to foreclose on. One of the things I dug a little further into since our last meeting, since we discussed it at length, was the amount of district maintenance assessments that would be recovered in doing this particular foreclosure work, right? Because we're foreclosing on the delinquent Phase 5 assessments, but we're also foreclosing on the delinquent district maintenance assessments. So those are all recoverable in these lawsuits as well. The way it works is once we foreclose on the property, deed the property to Auckland, Auckland takes a look at the attorney's fees spent to date and any delinquent maintenance assessments, and then those, they make us whole, essentially. So they pay to make all those accounts current. It's about $2,800 per lot. And this year we expect to initiate foreclosure actions on about 435 lots. So that'll capture a significant amount of the delinquent maintenance assessments that we discussed at the last meeting, having a plan and process for those. This work already will capture quite a bit of that figure. So I just wanted to get you all an update on that. Have several other projects cooking with staff, several of the products you approved today. We worked on since the last meeting, but if you guys have any questions on any projects, I'm happy to answer those questions now, and I'll make myself available after the meeting as well. So.
Garrett, I got a question. That's everything kind of foggy on Auckland because we've been dealing with this for
Sure.
lots of years. But do they, once we clear this, do they sell the lots? Or are we involved in the sale of the lots?
So the way it works is, or the way the agreement works that the board entered into many, many years ago is in order to repay the delinquent amounts owed on the property, very often it is the case that the property does not sell at the foreclosure sale. And the reason why is because the debt on the property far exceeds the market value of the lot. Oftentimes the debt on an individual lot right now, I think is around $45,000, sometimes $50,000 per lot in debt on a lot that, you know, the advertised market value or the assessed value is like $15,000. So in order to make them whole, what the district agreed to was to deed the lot to Auckland once there's no foreclosure sale as a way of paying them back. Once they get the lot, if they recover a lot that has utilities and road extended to it, yeah, they bunch them up and they sell them on to developers. The district's not involved in that, other than obviously, you know, pushing them to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, we're not involved in the actual sale aspect of case.
Thank you.
One addition to Auckland, just had a meeting with their president. He flies in probably every 4 to 5 months to do a site visit. They are actually transitioning from just what I'll call flipping properties, selling them, trying to recoup. They're actively now building. There's Auckland builds now going on. It's a builder out of Miami. Had a very good discussion with him. We will be holding his builds to the same standards we're holding D.R. Horton builds. So they're not going to be duplexes. They're going to be tied into our network. And in the future agreements on these builds, you'll see some language in there that we're treating him as a bulk builder, and he's fine with supporting our goals because our standards not only increase his values too. So it was a good discussion.
Agler?
This was Roger, their COO.
I mean, no, the.
Yes, sir. Aglier. Yes.
Aglier.
Yeah.
They've got a sign.
Yep.
Down there at Cortez
Yeah.
and Sun Lake Boulevard.
Yeah. Haven't met the builder yet. I asked him yesterday, can we come in with the builder and we'll chat? But they're the ones setting up the guidance. So
So they're technically the builder for Auckland.
yes, they will be building on these Auckland parcels.
I questioned that too when I saw that sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, they have another one out there on 27 at the north entrance.
Who's next?
It'll be
General
Jim.
manager?
I'm going to go off script for 2
Okay.
seconds, if you don't mind. Being the president of the board is a very thankless job. It lasts a year. There's a lot of additional meetings, signing, coming to the district staff and dealing with them. I want to thank Miss Beverly for her past year because not only she carried herself, which we would expect, professionally and appropriately for Sun and Lake to represent Sun and Lake. It was a pleasure working with you, ma'am, and thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll award her a district coin here. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll get into the general manager's report. A lot of business going on here. And we'll try to explain as best as possible, but please, if citizens are bored, if you want to deep dive, we can. So a summary of our GM actions is that we'll be discussing here the bond 44. This was the Fifth Third Bank negotiations that the district bought the bond basically. And what we are doing now with those 120 so parcels is we as a district are contacting these individuals. Most of these are vacant. Most of these are out past Cortez. We're contacting these individuals and saying, your district now is in charge of the debt, in charge of the bond. We're able to negotiate to get you out of the red. And the majority of these parcels, the debt on their land is probably within $20,000 to $50,000. So that's why they haven't done anything with it. They can't build, they don't want to invest, they don't want to sell it. And what we are doing now is, since the bank's out of the picture, we're approaching all these individuals, and very successfully so far, to get them to negotiate a lesser rate where I'm not worried about collecting what the bank wanted. I'm worried about collecting what they owe the district, the principal. So moving forward, what we'd be asking you is a motion to empower the general manager and staff that we can conduct these negotiations, get a settlement agreement made with these individuals. They'll pay the back due, they'll get clear, and then you'll start seeing those presented in your packet each month of how many we cleared out. We're going to start at 120. We're working them on, and I'm thinking in the next 3 to 4 months, all those bond 44 will either be negotiated, done, and we will probably recoup close to half, if not more, of the money we paid for the bond. Because we are definitely, just right now on the table that you're going to see next month is, I think, 10 to 12, Tamia, right? Yeah, about 10 to 12 negotiated numbers that equals over $100,000 that these people are paying, so they can be clear, and it helps us in the district. So that's going to be a motion that we're going to ask for. That's part of this discussion. So that's the first thing that I would ask for discussion on the board. It's really, if we bring these to you monthly in our board meetings, I think we lose the element of a negotiation with these individuals. They'll find another way to negotiate, or they'll get, nothing against my lawyers, they'll get the lawyers involved, they'll do all that type of stuff. I think having a clean negotiation that we're the ones that control the bond, we're finding very, very much success, and you will see all the transactions. The constant we're doing is, if you owe principal to the bank or to the district, that's what you pay. We summarize all the fees and interest into about $1,000 fee. We just lump it all together. And if you owe any district assessments or back pay, you have to pay that. That's the basic. We are not wanting to collect, nor need we collect what the bank has assessed these people for the fees and interest and penalties, because that was going to the bank anyway. By us doing this, we are in the driver's seat, we get all the money, and if the bank was still in the picture, we wouldn't see a dime of this, it would all go to the bank. So I'm asking for board support that we can get that approval to empower myself and the team here to conduct these negotiations on a very quick process. Questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, or I think or just tell you that I would like in each one of these items to ask for public comment as we
Yes, sir.
go through it. But first of all, we need a motion to allow the GM to conduct bond 44 negotiations.
I so make that motion to provide the GM, empower him to conduct negotiations on bond 44 parcels.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a
If I,
second.
if I can ask for an amendment to that motion, I guess the request is also to allow, to authorize the GM to execute an agreement with those folks on a form that's approved by my office, by legal counsel. If you'd like to incorporate that into your motion.
I really wouldn't, but all this technicality.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Go ahead.
Amended to our attorney's request.
Does somebody have all that?
We got it. We got it.
Okay.
I second.
Okay.
Garrett, is your microphone on? I don't, it goes in and out.
I
it
don't
seems like.
either.
Yeah.
You good?
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to have any public comment if anybody would like to speak on this. Okay. I guess when Coral gets back, we'll have a vote.
I can do it.
Go ahead, Tamia.
Okay,
Take
go
charge.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
President Gilpin.
Yes. Okay, Buzz.
Thank you much. The next discussion is on the roads improvements for 2025. In your packet, you have a map. In your packet, you have an exact list of the intersections. The focus this year is on about 15 critical intersections across the district. So if you look at the map, if the citizens see the map, the big purple sections are the general areas we're going to be working road resurfacing. There's some major roads that are being done, but probably less than a mile. The majority of the effort is we have a lot of intersections across the district that just have degraded over time. So our goal is to fix the intersection, add curbing to the intersection on all four sides, get that to standard, because what we're seeing, a lot of people shortcutting it and tearing up the sides, and that tears up the roadway. We'll do that. What this leaves us in our budget is about a mile's worth of resurfacing that I'm sitting down with the engineers right now and trying to identify the next critical area that may be an entirety of a street. And that's the stuff in red on our map. That's the assessment we did in the district. But this will start in the April timeframe. We're using our piggyback account with Sebring, which is Excavation Point is the contractor we use, pretty professional organization. We'll put notices out on the intersections that are closed for the day, and we'll take that out. But this basically will get us to about 2.5 miles of roadway resurfaced and get us on track to our regular repairs. It's based off of the assessments. It's based off of where we think we need to fix quicker. It's not based on who lives at what address. It's not based on, my friend is right here, fix his road. Trust me, not there. It's based on that product we built right there of what we need fixed in this district in a timely manner. So just for situational purposes for you guys, if there's an area of concern that you're hearing about or citizens are hearing about, I still have that 1 mile we can play with. So that may bubble up, and we'll do a look at that. But right now, that's what we're going to be working on this year. Don't need any action, it's just for situational awareness.
Is there any comment from the public? Okay, Buzz.
Boston Street. This came up in some of the assessment discussion as well as our wastewater discussion. Boston Street and that whole area, those three streets there have been an ongoing thorn in the side of the district as well as the residents that live there. A lot of stormwater issues, drainage issues. What we have done, that blue line, which is basically the swale that's in the backyard of all those houses, we addressed it with about $200,000 of work. And if you look at the photos, that's the after. So if you look at what it was before, that bottom right corner, solid trees, it was solid trees all across. There was no swale. That's why it was getting jammed up, clogged up, and the water would drain into people's houses or into their yards. What we have done is basically removed the swale. We placed a 12-inch pipe. It's connected by those surface drains. So the water will now run into the drain, go into the pipe. Now the pipe goes into our 2 retention ponds on the north and south of Boston. We haven't had a lot of heavy rain, so I can't say it's a solid fix. What we may have to do is the front yards of a lot of our Boston Street houses, the swale in their front yard may need some addressing, and we will be going back and doing that as well. The intent is if you have a swale in your front yard, a ditch, it'll connect on your easements on the side of your houses to this network and drain into here, so then that water gets out of there and doesn't just sit in your yard. We'll be doing that in this area as well as across the district over time. We budgeted $250,000. We came in at 194 with KDL, so that was a good oversight of the project. We provided a lot of the pipe, some pipe that was excess from our Greens project, so that was very beneficial. And it's a good project, and I hope the Boston residents appreciate the efforts, and we'll continue to work in that area as well. That's the update on that one.
Any public comment?
Just wanted to say thank you to Bob and his team for all the work on Boston Street. I was one of the person that was very flooded around the house and it's getting better. Hopefully with the rain it'll be better, but I appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. We'll be keeping an eye on it. Thank you much.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Okay, streetlight?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On Boston Street. I'm sure there's other streets like Boston.
Sure.
Is that the builder developer's fault for not doing that, or is that our fault for not making them do that?
Combination. So when we do neighborhood builds like that, part of our development plan should be that there's a standard swale size, it's maintained, and so on. That area was built with at a time period where we as a district were not being hard on enforcement, and we have learned from that, and we will definitely be fixing that moving forward. But right now, we own it, and we're going to be doing that same level, probably not to the level of $200,000. We're basically going now with our piece of equipment and clearing out all the swales and seeing if it needs a pipe. The only major difference there is we got rid of the swale, we put a submerged pipe or subsurface pipe. That's a good thing to do. We'd prefer just to clean the swale out and let the swale take care of it. So we'll continue to do that with DR Horton or any of the new builds coming in there. This is a discussion we have with them up front. They own it, and we'll enforce them to do it. So.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Kim Ledoux, 2830 Monza in Manor Hill. Just have a question. We have some of those big drains in Manor Hill, and it looks like they're filling up with weeds and dirt and so forth. And I wondered if there's any schedule to have those cleaned out so that we won't get into trouble in the future with the rains coming.
We do have a schedule. I can get back to you specifically on the timeline we're going to get to you. We average about 50 to 60 miles of swale cleaning every month. That's across the district. We have over 1,000 miles of swales, so we get to them. But I can check specifically Manor Hill, Monza Street, Manor Hill. That's your area?
Yes, the whole
Yes,
of Manor Hill. I know there's
Okay.
2 or 3 on my street alone, but
Gotcha.
yes, thank you.
Yep. That's it for that. Okay, so this was the facilities plan. So back last summer, you all approved the facilities plan for our wastewater plant. Is that what you're not looking at?
Lights.
Oh, streetlights. I'm sorry. Go to streetlights. Streetlights update. Magnolia Place is complete. 15 Duke Power streetlights are installed. That's the top 2 pictures. Same type of light we have across the district. Pretty much lights up decent amount in Magnolia. At best case scenario, we probably need to add 4 or 5 more, but they're now lower on the priority. We'll get to them eventually. But the residents are very happy with that, and we'll continue to monitor that. The bottom, we're doing our test case with the 3 solar lights, and I'm showing you pictures of the quick install. These are direct bury metal poles with the solar fixture on the top. It's at the intersection, I'm sorry, what is that, sir? That's Santa Lane and Pebble Beach. We picked an intersection so we can get the ability to see the impact of a light right on an intersection. And we were going to do the rest of the Pebble Beach area in Unit 16 eventually. So we picked that. They go in pretty quick, averaging about 20 minutes to do an install. They do a bore. The next truck lays in the pipe. There's no cement. This is a direct buried pipe. It's authorized. It's hurricane rated. And the good thing about that is we have the playroom where we can adjust it over time. We can actually move them very quickly if we need to, because there's nothing tied to it. There's no electrical or concrete, and they're under warranty. So we're good on that. What I'm showing you there, the bottom right, visualize that picture. That was pitch black before we put a light in. That street was pitch black. We have a lot of residents live on there. That's one light. That one light gave you a spill of light over 250 feet. That one light. So go 125 feet left and right. And it covers, that's a picture of the light with it at an adjustment that goes straight down. What we have done since this install is adjusted the light where it spills out across the road, so it'll be a different view. Does not change the width, but it gives you a spill across the road, so we'll cover the entire road. Our current lights, the ones you see in the top left corner, have a spill of no more than 75 to 80 feet. So these lights, they're solar, but they're LED and they're better technology. They're going to do a great impact to us across the district. There's 122 more coming once we finish this test case. And I'm really just using the test case to see not only the quality of the light, but to see the distances we can spread them apart. These are connected where the spill of one light touches the spill of another light, if that makes sense. We don't have to do that. We could have a little gap in between them to get more lights in the street. But we're doing this test case, and I'll get back with sustainability partners and Miller Electric, and we'll say we're ready to go to the next phase. I like the light. I like the emplacement of them. Now finish out the contract for the 120 more lights. So I'm very impressed, very satisfied so far. We control the adjustment. That's our guys went up there and did a quick adjustment, so it's easy to do. And we can actually control it if it's daylight notified or sensors. I didn't want to put it on sensors because then lights might be going on and off if a car passes. We just want constant light. So the lights come on at sunset and the lights stayed on all the way till sunrise the next day, the first couple of days, and I'm sure they're still doing it now. So I think it's going to be a good initiative for the district. And just in this year, once we're done, we will be installing over 180 lights in total across our district and catching up onto that where we need to electrify the entire district. So very impressed with it and very happy with it.
What's the timeline?
Timeline is after this test, giving another 2 weeks of the test. I believe the contract was no more than 3 months, Michael? 3 months, we're done? Yeah, so sustainability, knock out all the rest of them in a 3-month window. Yeah. Yep.
Is there any public comment on the lights?
Hi, Laura Pajón again. I was wondering, as a homeowner, could we purchase a light and have it installed in our property? Or maybe something you can
We can look into that.
look into that, let us
Right
know.
now, these are street lights, so
Mhm.
some people that are buying personal lights through Duke Power orient them on their property. It doesn't do anything for me on the street. That's a good question. I can research it and see if we can get additional lights since you just sink them in the ground. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Got that, Michael? Give me an answer on that? All right. Yep.
Okay, the wall.
Okay, the facilities, you got that one, sir? Is that the next one?
Oh, you want wastewater facility?
Yes, if we can
Okay.
just do that quickly.
I need motion on resolution 2025-01 on the wastewater facility plan for DEP submission.
I make a motion to accept the plan resolution -2025-01.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any public comment?
Want me to explain it quickly?
Go ahead.
Administrative in nature, we did this back June. We changed the DEP plan somewhat significantly by adjusting some numbers, making sure it meet the criteria for the district. So now DEP is part of our submission last month. They're asking us, can you just give us a fresh motion? No change. It's just administrative in nature. It's just a block check for the state that you all are comfortable that what we submitted, it's in your packet, that 70-page product.
Another tree.
Yes, is back to DEP for comment, and that's how they give us the loan. So just asking for an updated resolution so we can get this to DP.
And how long do you think it'd be before we get the next?
If we get this DP this month, the DP folks says their board meeting in February, they should be on the agenda to address it. And then we'll see, usually 30 days after a board meeting, they tell you how much money you got. Is it a grant? Is it a loan?
So March, April.
Probably March meeting, we should know something, yes, sir.
Great.
Okay, we we have a motion and a second.
You can do public comment now.
And is there any public comment? Okay,
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
President Gilpin.
yes,
All right, we're just rolling here. I like these type of meetings. Okay, so here is the ask from the staff. Not asking for a motion because we have an agreement, you have it on your desk, for the Haskell Group, which is a part of Sustainability Partners. So we as a district, we have a partnership with Sustainability for our infrastructure. The Haskell and Ordura presented to the district an unsolicited bid as well as a public meeting in November of last year on how they can help us with our wastewater plant, how they can get us to the next step. So while we as a district are moving down the road of getting the financing secured, there are some technical steps that we need to get validated and actually boots on the ground in our wastewater area to help with the base phase 1 scope of work tasks, as they call them. So Haskell presented us this recommendation. It's a bill of up to 1.3 million over the next 12 to 24 months. And it'll get us to a point where we'll be bringing to the board who will build the wastewater plant. This is not signing up to build our plant. This is to do phase 1 tasks to get us prepared to present a plan to you all and the citizens of we identified, hopefully this company, because they're the ones putting their skin in the game, Sustainability Partners in Haskell to take us to the actual build phase. There may be some groundwork in some of these tasks. There'll be some technical drawings. There'll be some technical work on the ground, some surveys and whatnot. But we would not leave phase 1 with a set of plans. That's the next step. So what the staff is asking for is a motion that out of our wastewater fund, which you see the financials in there, right now we have about 1.4 million, and over this year we're going to collect 2 more million. This is the people paying $15 a month, $108 a year. We will be using some of that money to spend up to 1.5 million with Haskell Engineering Group. They met all the state requirements for us to entertain this partnership as well as with Sustainability Partners. And I would like the next step, if you authorize that, then I, working with the team over there, can start bringing to you, okay, now Haskell is going to do phase 1, number X, number Y, number Z, whatnot. And it'll get us actual motion. We have the motion on this is moving. You hear it, you see it. We're taking care of the money side of it, but we want to start putting pen to paper and pushing a little bit of dirt to get this done in that next 4-year window. That's what our citizens need. That's what you all were tasked us with. And this is a step we want to get moving on. There are no other capable, in my assessment, capable partners locally and regionally that if we said, take this to end state, they can, Haskell can. In my discussions with my friends to the north and south and what they're doing with their wastewater plants, they're having to use multiple vendors, multiple contractors, multiple subcontractors. It is just a nightmare, and it's not even near a $50 million project. So I'm very comfortable with the bid, the unsolicited bid. I'm very comfortable with the process here. It gets us to the next step, and it gets us in a position where we can really stick a fork in. This is the guys or gals that will build our wastewater plant and be ready by 2029. So we're asking just for you to tell me to proceed with actions with the Haskell and Sustainability. I'll be bringing those contracts back to you for actual signature with the president. But I would like to have that empowerment so I can have firmer discussions, because then they have skin in the game. They've done a lot of work for us at no cost right now. The packet they provided, the bid, the work, and all that type of work. So they're, obviously they have some stake in it. But I'm asking for the support that we can start taking this to the next step. So that's where this stands.
so you need a voice.
I think a voice vote would be fine. There's really a motion there. I asked for a motion to proceed with up to $1.5 million over the next 12 months.
What would you prefer?
for a motion for the record, and then that empowers me to start bringing back the contracts to you guys.
I know the answer to this, but I'm sure you'll update us monthly as how much we're spending.
And part of phase one task, and Haskell's here as well as Mike, part of phase one task is there's public meetings. They will come update you on their process. It's not coming out of my mouth, it's coming out of their mouth. So definitely they'll be on the queue to get us going as part of this phase one. Yeah.
I make a motion to proceed up to 1 million in the next 12 months with Haskell wastewater plant design, phase 1.
I second that.
Supervisor Herrick,
Pardon me just a minute. Is there any public comment? Okay, and I want to, is that 1.5, Mr. Harris?
Yeah.
Did you say, okay,
1.5,
yeah, I.
up to
you-
1.5.
Okay. Okay. Now the vote. Thank you.
no problem. Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillip,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
President Gilpin.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Quick update on the Wall That Heals Veterans Memorial, just some highlights to show you the connectivity to our district. Had some great meetings with our stakeholders, school board, principals, Advent Hospital. We're starting to do the rounds with all the veterans organizations. The connection we have here is that within Sun and Lake, there's over 1,000 veterans. Within that 1,000, there's about 450 are Vietnam veteran era folks. So a great connection to the this event. In Florida, second highest amount of Vietnam veterans live in Florida. Next state's California. So another nexus there. About close to 1,957 service members died from Florida in the Vietnam War, and 14 specifically from Highlands County, just to put a connection. In Florida, out of the Medal of Honor winners, that's the amount, 14 of them were from Florida. Those are designated on the walls downtown at the new Medal of Honor Memorial. They're also the same names you'll see on the wall. Those will be highlighted as Florida folks that paid the ultimate sacrifice to serve our nation. Specifically, we don't have any from Sun and Lake because Sun and Lake was only founded in 1974. But across Highlands County, these are the actual Vietnam veterans that were killed in action during Vietnam and are on the wall. These names will be specifically highlighted at a point in time during the week they're here to with pictures and some memorabilia from their family and really be spotlighted as heroes locally of Highlands County. So I just want to put a connection to what's happening here. Very comfortable in the support. I think financially, there you go. We, with just a simple ask, we have raised $23,000 for this endeavor. So that's a great thing. Some of this is gift in kind. KDL, you see some pipes out here. KDL is going to level that surface, get rid of the bumps and the swales, make that a flat surface, and that's a gift in kind. We just gave them some pipe we had. So that's going to be a great thing. And what it will give us after this event goes away is a good parking area, a good play area, and there'll be an actual parking area for overflow parking for the district community center here. You'll see a small pad on the Edgewater Drive that'll be graveled for cars to park, overflow parking for this event here. So, and then the sheriff department gift in kind, they're going to help us with the escorts and security and so on. I see this list growing. Right now, the schools have guaranteed us that over 3,000 students will participate in this. The average across the kids that participate in the Wall That Heals about 1,200 people, kids. So I'm very impressed with our school board. We went to the board meeting. The Dr. Longshore and all the principals just went to a meeting last night at Hill Goosedat, and he's like, "I'm sending 600. You're getting 600. Can you take it?" I said, "We'll take it." So we're going to have a lot of community energy. Where we are lacking, where I need you guys to get the voice out, I need you guys to help us, is volunteers. We need volunteers because this is manned 24/7. We got a body sitting in this room out there 24/7 for those 3-4 days. We're needing to build that roster. Coral's in charge of that. So that's the next hurdle we cross. And right now, the start date is on the 5th of March. It arrives. Is that correct? Yep. It arrives, it gets set up, and then it's operational until Sunday, and it tears down and it goes to the next state. So it's going to come quick, 6 weeks away. And I got the whole team is full bore on it. And I just want to give you all an update. I'm very satisfied. You'll start seeing posters go up. You'll start seeing digital media, as well as the radio spots we have. that's being donated and newspaper ads, as well as coastal news stations have taken up the news story. So they want to come do interviews and market us on Tampa and Miami. So I think it's a big deal, and I know you all support it, and I'm very impressed with what we got so far, but it's even going to get better. So that's a quick update on the wall that heals.
I just want to comment that I am one of them Vietnam era veterans.
Well, there you go.
And have been to the wall before, up in Indiana. It's very nice, very good. I also have a friend that's on that wall. My only question is, with the donations you're getting, is this, what will that help pay for? Is it?
So it's the manning of it. We have to feed these volunteers. I don't want that to come out of assessment money. They're here for a shift of 4 hours. We're providing food here. We have to provide power for the wall for that week. So there are some ancillary costs that I didn't want that to come out of our tax base. And that's what that money's going to.
I didn't know.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't involved in one up in Indiana, but I didn't know that there was cost involved for us. But I've already had one question on that, so I just for that. So.
And that's where we're looking for that money. I don't want to say assessment money went to the wall. That's not our plan, not
I
our
don't
goal.
blame you. I wouldn't want.
Well, there you
to
go.
either.
Yes, sir. I read your mind.
How much investment do we have in this?
To date, probably about $7,000. Yeah.
In addition to the 23,000?
No, that's $7,000 expenditures to date, and that's what our initial collection is to date right now. So we're on the plus side, but we haven't done a lot of our expenses yet. We haven't bought the food, we haven't bought the vests that the ambassadors wear, that type of stuff. So it's going to be pretty much break even by the time we get to execution. Getting some buses, marking some parking areas, that type of stuff.
Is there any public comment on this? I do recommend that everyone, you tell your friends and you go. It's going to be well worth it. So, okay, Buzz.
All right. And this was it's a little eye chart. We'll have this timeline blown up. It's on our website. That shows you all the daily events, the tours, and that type of stuff. Let me see. Let's skip something. A quick note. It's in your packet. We issued the State of the District last month. Posted online, put it out. Basically a summary of our 2024. I think I sent you all a copy for reading pleasure, and a lot of citizens have commented. They appreciate the summary of it. I got to make sure you have one. I don't think you do have one, sir?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, sir.
We continue to do that. So throughout the year, the staff builds that product. And then in the December timeframe, we issue a State of the District, because then you have something that tells you what we're doing compared to when you start hearing what the county's doing, the state's doing, and America's doing. You can nest it all together, and that's our goal with that product. And I take any critical feedback or any feedback at all on that. If you want us to tweak it, adjust it, add more or something, we'll continue to do that. Just something that's a best practice that I learned that I'll continue regardless of. All right. One meeting recommendation that I would ask, March 4th is our March board meeting. It's here, but that's the day the entourage comes. I would ask that rather we move it to a night meeting, because then this place is fully occupied. We can move locations, but my staff's going to be stretched that day. I would ask we just push it 1 week later, if your schedules accommodate that, Mr. President. So we're asking that we move the March meeting to the second, what I have there? Second Tuesday of March, and I thought I put a date there, but my apologies. The 11th.
Yeah.
If we can move your March meeting to the 11th, we can keep it in the daytime, 9 o'clock, but it'll be the same location, but then we're done the wall that heals, and there's no competition for staff as well as resources.
Do we have a chance to look at it? And get back
Yeah,
to
we don't
you?
need it. We have another month to get this out to the public, so.
I mean, I have no problem, but I think we all better.
Yep, just check your
to see.
schedules. That was just something we saw as a conflict, and I wanted to make sure we have the right people at the right meetings.
Very good.
And what we added this month, I know the GM does a lot of talking. You have a GM report. I wanted you to give an idea of all the departments that are working a lot of tasks. This may not be their top one, but this is one that highlights to y'all that what they're doing across our staff. No updates other than gives you an idea of the area of focus that staff is working on. And if you do have a question, either in this meeting or through me, we can have a discussion of, tell me more about the RPAC grants, tell me more about whatever. But we added this feature into this board packet, into the GM's report, because I just wanted them to have an ability to get in front of you. There are 1 or 2 critical issues that they're working. So we'll continue this process. That's all.
On IT,
Yes, sir.
is there a specific reason why we couldn't have internet access at the clubhouse as a guest? Right now, you have to find the login and they bring you a scan and you scan in. I mean, once you do it, it's fine, but I was wondering why couldn't we just have a guest site?
So there's 2 main reasons behind that. Number 1 is when you have just an open guest network, you have no agreement on that network for the type of content that people are accessing. So by having that landing page with the community Wi-Fi, it has an agreement specifically what it's to be used for. And then beyond that, I've spoken with Mike and we do intend to make a guest network specifically for events, but it wouldn't be an open guest network at the district. We could, however, which Mike also suggested to me, set up a Wi-Fi specifically for members. Rather than have a guest network that's for members, we'll have a password protected member Wi-Fi network.
But we can look into it. I understand where you're going with it. I'll have a discussion with these guys and we'll see if we can make it.
Any doctor's office.
Sure, you just
Most
walk in there.
places You have this guest.
Understand.
I have a question on the same topic. You open it up, you click the agreement, do whatever you do, walk away for 10 minutes, you come back and get back on your phone. You have to go through the whole agreement process again.
So there is a limited lease time on each connection. When you connect to that network, because of the fact that there's a limited number of available IPs and there's a lot of people using it, if you disconnect from it, it does drop your lease. I can look into adjusting that time, but it would limit how many people the network can serve.
As long as I get on, I don't care. No, okay.
Understood.
No, I understand.
We talked that your 25 and K over. These were all budgeted for. I just wanted to highlight, we had the usual recurring costs. We paid our insurance. We paid for their generators that were damaged for the hurricane. Some of this will get reimbursement from FEMA, but this is just the recurring costs of the district, just for your awareness. No need for any motions because they were all baked into the standing budget for 2024, 2025. Golf did not have a meeting this month, the committee. So nothing provided. We'll have a February meeting with the golf committee. I'll bring you back that feedback. And subject to any questions of staff or myself, that's all we have.
Okay. I just specifically want to say to Mike, this meeting we're having next month that Supervisor Herrick wants, I think the rest of the supervisors ought to meet with Mike and Jimmy and everybody else so we know. I know Mr. Herrick's been around, I've been around, but we need to go over all this and give them a fair shake of what's going on. There's other related things that with all what's happening up there that I have questions with, but I'm too much of a newbie to really, I need to talk a lot and listen. So I just want to let you guys know that be prepared next meeting. Okay, and you too, Rod. Okay. Is there anything for Coral? Okay, follow-up items.
Unless you have a direction, I'm going to add the Troon discussion on the agenda. If there's something else you want me to add.
Oh, well, there might be a discussion to and from the board.
Sure.
Is there?
I'd like to bring up a topic. That's okay. The Sebring Pickleball Club hosted a tournament here at our courts last Saturday. I'm a member of the Sebring Pickleball Club as well. Throughout the day, we had over 100 people there, some watching, some playing, a lot playing. First of all, Ariel's nephew won silver in his category, 11 years old, so congrats on him. But a few observations from me, but some of the players as well. We had several Sun Lake residents playing in the tournament, which was good to see. We also have players as far away as West Palm Beach and Vero Beach here, so that was good. Ben, who was the attendant that day, without any prompting from anybody, was out there helping dry off the courts. We had a 2-hour rain delay, making sure, asking a lot of questions. Some of the squeegee things, I think we have squeegee blades somewhere, but about 3 or 4 of those need to be replaced, and that would have been a good day to have them repaired. But anyway, that all came off well. That was good. A couple of bad things. The ice machine, water machine was not working because that outlet, I'm going to say it one more time, is a bad outlet. And when it rains, it fails. So we had to run an extension cord from another outlet over there to get water, make sure people had water for the day. But that outlet does need to be replaced. Lack of trash cans, toilet paper in both restrooms, and soap in the restrooms ran out. We had to go over to Island View to get some more. I say that because it was on the calendar. Somehow it's not getting to everybody. And I only say that not because of our event, but in 2 weeks we have a larger event, the Heartland Games. There can be a couple hundred people there throughout the day. Just need to make sure it's on the schedule. That said, also, this is league season where Sun Lake has 3 teams participating in leagues, and they travel to various communities, and those various communities travel here. So there should be a little heightened on the restroom area for that purpose. Otherwise, it's good. A couple of other comments. I'm there a lot, so I don't notice it anymore. But that tennis fence with the yellow tape, that's got to go.
It is. We've sorted out with our insurance folks, so now we can tear that down. We're going to get rid of that. The soonest we can get it actually replaced is April with the vendor. But we'll get rid of the fence.
Yeah, if we can get rid of it before that tournament in 2 weeks, that'd be a good thing.
We'll do. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, again, I'm there a lot. Linda's there a lot. So I don't notice it anymore, but new people come in like, what's going on over there? So anyway, just need more integration of the scheduling because it's on the books, and you just need the attendants to know about it and be ready for it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We'll get on it. And like I say to you guys every time, and I say to any citizen, if anything that's giving Sun Lake a black eye 24/7, please send me a note because these guys know it. I'll shake them out of bed at Saturday night and say, you need to fix something.
Yeah.
And, but yes, we can take
But
care
I
of
do
that.
out for everybody to hear all the
No, no,
tournaments.
that's
Just
great.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's good.
We'll fix these.
That was
Nick's
a
got it.
very, very good tournament.
Yep.
We have another one in 2 weeks. I think Sun Lake is hosting a ladies only tournament in February. Good things happening over there.
Yes, sir.
We need to keep up.
Will do.
Yeah.
Everything got cleaned up on the golf course, but not over there.
Yes, ma'am. Gotcha.
Boss, is there anything, when this happens, do we have to wait 4 or 5 months to get stuff fixed that we know the insurance is going to cover?
Well, that was the issue. We just got the insurance to,
Yeah, but I mean, would we have, is it standard that we can't do anything, that we can't fix it? And then wait for the, like FEMA, for the money to come in?
no, we're not waiting for the money. The insurance and the adjuster said, this is what we're going to give you for it. We agree with your damage. Now you can clear the damage.
But
That's
I'm
what we're
at-
waiting on.
Can we supersede that if we need? that?
No,
'Cause
sir.
I
Not if
know-
we don't want to get insurance.
I know in the past we've done, when damage is done, I was there during Irma.
Yep.
And we had emergency stuff on the golf course and we did a lot of spending money and a lot of work
Yes.
and we didn't get paid for it
Well,
until
and that's
2
the
years
problem.
later. So I'm just saying, I've sat there, I'm not a pickleball player, but it's looked like crap for 3, 4 months.
Yes.
And I just wondered, is there a way that we can't fix that until we get insurance?
No, we can't fix it with the vendor that put the fence up until April. Because he told us that, I'm finding another vendor to get the fence in sooner. We just couldn't remove the fence until the adjuster agreed with us that there was damage and this is the cost.
Mm.
Otherwise, there's nothing to look at. They would come there and say, what do you mean what fence? So that's why it had to stay there. Sadly, that's what the state. That is resolved in December. The fence is going to go away. My guys will move it away. I'm finding another vendor to get it done sooner rather than April.
So we're expediting everything as quick
Oh,
as
yes, sir.
possible.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I want other people to pay for it.
That's what I really was trying to get at.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Any other board to board?
On a follow-up, those duplexes over on Pebble, did we get when those permits were let?
That's a note I sent you and Glenna.
Sorry about that. Yes, sir. The permits are valid. We were able to verify that. I can have Glenna follow up with you the exact dates that they were purchased, but all the permits have been renewed for those
renewed.
properties. Yes, sir.
Because there's just, I mean, activity there is minimal at best, and it's been that way for a year now. And it's a big eyesore completely on that street, and it's just, they're not doing anything. I think, I'd like to see you bring in that general manager and talk to him. From my understanding, he's down in Miami, and we're not getting anything done with him being gone all the time.
Yes, sir.
So I'd like a face-to-face with him and say, let's get this cleaned up.
Where's that?
On Pebble, there's two duplexes in three specific spots on Pebble Beach on the golf course side.
Okay.
There, from what I understand back before Nick came, those are Section 8 housing. Not that that should make a difference,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason, you know, if it's because it's government, got the government's involvement that it's taken forever and ever, and we had to constantly remind them and fine them for the garbage they left around. They didn't ever clean up anything. They didn't have dumpsters. They didn't have the outhouses.
Okay.
And so it's just been a problem for a year.
I know where to look now.
Yeah.
I wasn't
You-
quite sure.
It'll
where
be
you-
obvious when you run
Yeah,
down there.
okay. Okay. Any other? I have a few things I want to bring up. I tried to get it on the agenda. As you know, I was newly elected, and I did a lot of campaigning, a lot of going door to door, over 1,000 homes I visited. And I had a lot of concerns from people, whether I agreed or not. And I just want to get some of these you'll see me bring up, try to get on the agenda, whether I agree with it or not, that I owe the people that sit and listen to me, and I sit and listen to them. And I just want to thank them and bring this stuff up because I got elected, and I think I owe it to them. So there's a couple of things I'd like to bring up. You'll see a number of things in the next few months I'll bring up, but one thing is I campaigned on 2 meetings a month. And I would like to bring that up and have one meeting on the second Tuesday of the month, and the fourth Tuesday of the month, we have a night meeting. And I don't know if I need to put that on the agenda now, or we can talk about it now. How would we?
We can make it an agenda item for open discussion, but take advantage of your time to chat with your comrades here.
Well, I have a couple things, but I think we could start with that. Does anybody want to talk about it
I
here?
see no merit at all in having 2 meetings a month.
Okay.
We did it before. All it did was provide a lot of work for staff with minimal additional information that can't be handled on a 1-month basis. If there's a special issue, Boz gets in touch with us. We don't have to necessarily have a meeting, but it'll be discussed with us. If it's an emergency, that's a situation that we take care of anyway. So I see no merit at all in having 2 meetings a month.
Anybody else want to weigh in?
I'd be open to consider it, but when I chose to run for the board, it was based on a once a month meeting. I mean, I have a lot of, sad to say, or happy to say, a lot of vacation time I like to take. So I don't want to be restricted in that regard, but I mean, I would put the district first. If the board agrees to that, I would do it, but that's not a high priority item on my agenda.
Okay. Anybody else comment?
We'll add it as an agenda item for future
Just
discussion.
add it as agenda item, but I'd like to know first, um, does the staff or the general manager have an opinion? I do want to say that every entity in Florida that I know of meets twice a month. Now, there might be one that I don't know of. We met twice a month for years. And, but I just, do you want to wait for a recommendation from you, or what do you think?
Your staff, your GM is going to do exactly what you guys agreed to.
Okay.
Staffing wise, I would say you start doing a regular night meeting, then I'm having truly to adjust a lot of schedules from directors all the way down. So that may be concerning. While we have a lot of issues on our standing agendas, if we did a second meeting, initially, I would think the second meeting would be more of a workshop, a discussion. I don't see a lot of motions coming twice a month. So it'd be just a discussion rather than motion action.
Well, why is there and I'm not trying to be, but why does everybody else do 2 meetings a month? Is it
Are they,
well,
are
no.
they special districts or are they cities?
because we were
Probably
going
cities.
along and
Probably
all of a
cities.
sudden 3 supervisors, I think, or 4 decided to go
I
with
mean,
one.
Garrett can chime in. He does a few of these other ones. A lot of your cities, towns, and villages, their city managers are very restrictive, and a lot of decisions come from supervisors. Where our charter is structured differently, where the operational day-to-day is empowered to the GM. So unless there's some stop checks or checks and balances, I'm not having Sebring example. Sebring will have to vote to do repairs on a street every time. The board, the county commissioner, the board commissioner. We don't. You guys empower me with a budget. You say fix it. You give me a priority. We fix it.
Well,
So
we have the last year, but that's not how we did it before.
and
But-
we've had 50 years of trouble with our roads, sir. Just leave it at that.
If it was in the budget, they didn't have to come back
Yeah.
to it.
I think that the whole dynamics with the board that we have finally got in place and our general manager and his staff, I don't think we need 2
I think it's
meetings a
working
month.
exceptionally well.
It's
Okay.
just,
We have made,
everything that we have gotten accomplished in the last year is amazing. I've been on the board for 6 years and we haven't had 2 meetings a month since I've been on the board.
we
We
made
did
more
it.
progress.
2
Yes.
years ago, we went to 1 meeting a month.
My opinion is.
So
that
I don't know what happened the other years before that, but January of 23, we went to 1 meeting a month. But
It'll be on the agenda.
put it on the
Yes,
agenda
sir. Yeah, sure.
and then we'll discuss, everybody else, talk about it, decide. A couple of you already have. But, the next thing is a lot of comment, and I could never answer when I was out campaigning, is wanting us to go to a city. I can't, there's no way I could answer. I have no way of knowing what's best. I know the past supervisors, and I was part of it, we tried to change a lot of things out there in housing and so on and so forth. We can't do it. We're tied with the county. It looks to me like, I think Garrett and I had a conversation that it's just not going to happen unless we become a city, I think. Some of the things we want to accomplish. So I would like, and this is a long process. This is not a vote to say yes, because I think, if I'm wrong, Buzz, right or wrong, it has to be approved by the board. It has to go out for a vote for the community. And so, but when I get asked questions, I can't answer them. Because people come up to me and say, well, will my taxes go up or down? And I say, where do you live? I said, they'll probably go down. And another person said, another person asked me, I said, where do you live? They live on a golf course in a $500,000, $600,000 home. I said, they're going up. But I don't know. I can't do them other than say they're going up, they're going down. So I would like, if we can, And if we have to, put it on the agenda, but I would like for you to get somebody to professionally give us all the answers. And I think Garrett's company can do that, but not sure.
Sure.
But again, it's something I'd like to put on the agenda. And
They won't be ready for it.
We can, what we can do, if it's the pleasure of the board, is our office can prepare a memorandum outlining the process of how it would happen. Recently, the legislature has changed the manner in which special districts can become incorporated. After the governor's dissatisfaction with Reedy Creek, there were some significant changes to the way special districts operate, and that was one of the major changes. So I believe it's different than when you all were previously briefed. So I think that would be helpful. And then as far as, the things that you all discuss often, land use authority, sort of the powers you would gain. And then, the drawbacks would be obviously, district's liabilities would increase significantly. There's the issue of presenting the economic feasibility study to the state with some of the outstanding obligations the district has, outstanding bonds, things like that we're still cleaning up. But we can put that package together. I would say probably for the March meeting, we could.
well,
we could have it.
I don't want
Yeah.
to, I don't want to do it if the board doesn't. If we don't get a majority of the board that wants it, I don't want to waste anybody's time. But like I said, I owe it to people to answer some of their questions that they do. Now, whether the board wants to do it or not, that's up to the board. But I need to bring it up and I need to have people vote on it so we're all accountable for what's going on.
Yeah, and just as a reminder to you, President Gilpin and the rest of the board, our firm, we represent the district and we represent the 5 of you. If there's ever a product or information that you want from our office, you can just call me and ask for it and we'll get it to you. So if you want information on the process of, how the district can become a city, that's a product I can give any of you individually. Whether I have something ready for a board meeting and it's an agenda, if you want the board to consider that, then certainly, I'll do that at the direction of the whole board. But if it's a product that you want individually to look
Yeah,
at.
I see, and I don't want that. I don't want you to spend money unless the board wants to do that, the majority of the board. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. But I have an obligation for a lot of things that are coming up to address, so.
Well, if you want to add it as a topic for March, then his firm can bring either himself or an expert
Okay,
to lay that out, and we just put it on a March agenda.
okay.
And it doesn't cost the district any more dollars from our
Okay.
firm to do the
Well,
work.
that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, we're flat
Okay.
rate, so it's
Okay.
included.
You're living in the old days, sir. Come on now.
Is there a minimum population to do something like that?
Say that again.
Is there a minimum population needed to do something like that?
No, there are all sorts of requirements. The one that would, I think, get us would be the economic feasibility with some of the outstanding financial issues of the district, which, potentially in the next few years, those will all be a thing of the past. But no, I think it'd be helpful to see the whole process laid out. And, be happy to work that product out.
Thank you. Anything else from anybody? Again, I'd like to thank everybody out there. Thank you for coming, and I think we've got through a meeting here pretty quick.
Like that one.
And the meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.